Lisa Mullins, and this is The World, a co-production of the BBC World Service, PRI, and WGBH in Boston. Archbishop Desmond Tutu's credentials as a man of peace are solid. He was a leader in the fight against apartheid in South Africa. He headed the Truth and Reconciliation Commission after apartheid fell, and he has won the Nobel Peace Prize. This month, the Archbishop spoke in Denver to a crowd of young people. He spoke of his admiration for America's values, but Desmond Tutu expressed dismay that the United States, in his view, is no longer a beacon of peace.
That is what you are able to give to the world: democracy, freedom, the rule of law. Hey, then how come you permit Guantanamo Bay?
Desmond Tutu says he wasn't speaking to the government in Washington.
I was speaking to the people of America. You know, it was exactly the kind of appeal we used to make, like when we wanted sanctions applied. Your administration at the time, the Reagan administration, was totally opposed. So we appealed
sanctions
over
against
the
South
head.
Africa.
Yes, we appealed over the head of President Reagan to the people, and in quite an extraordinary turnaround, they, especially young people at colleges and universities, were able to change the moral climate in that country, and the legislation was passed, including a presidential veto override. So one was saying, here is your legacy. This is the rock from which you have been hewn. Look to that rock and, as it were, claim back what others seem to have appropriated.
Well,
misappropriated.
Or misappropriated. Well, you know, you're speaking, I think, as well to the government. They're not just the people of the United States. And you know, President Bush, I mean, you're speaking there to a man of faith.
Yeah.
So are you calling on him to exercise his faith in a different way? Because
I would hope he would realize that many of the positions he has held are inconsistent with the heart of the Christian gospel.
That's such as what?
Well, simply, I mean, detention without trial is one of them. Attacking a foreign state for action taken by individuals. Afghanistan was made a scapegoat for 9/11. He knew he was taking action that could not be justified. It was not an enemy state that had attacked the United States. It was individuals, and often it was individuals from different countries. I mean, I was appalled to discover that in the United States, which many of us have held in high regard, we've sought to emulate, in the United States, you would have someone in the administration pontificate about something, and very, very few of the media would call in question. I mean, and for me, that was so a deja vu experience. I mean, it was exactly what we used to get here in South Africa. If you were to call in question the action of the apartheid government, their best way of rebuttal would be to call in question, if you are white, to call in question your patriotism. You're doing exactly the same thing. And you're saying, no, not the United States, who can now use the same justification for detention without trial that they attacked so viciously when it was being done by the apartheid government, quite rightly.
Are you trying to make an overt comparison between the apartheid government of South Africa and the United States government as it currently is?
All I'm saying is that they have behaved in precisely the same way. And what has shaken me is the fact that there has been so little outcry in the United States against things like Guantanamo Bay. I mean, the fact that you are using torture.
Are you disappointed in not only the American government, but, for instance, the Anglican Church here for not speaking out?
you don't ever call people to be brave and so on, because you don't know all the pressures under which they operate. No, all I'm trying to say is the United States has been a source of inspiration to many of us, and that's not just trying to psychologize you. And even as we are condemning features, we keep recalling how we were supported, as I indicated, supported in our own struggle against apartheid, and held the United States in the highest possible regard.
I have a question about the spread of radical Islam, including in Africa. Do you believe it's an issue that people of faith, of all faiths, have an ability and, in fact, a responsibility to address?
I myself don't like the characterization of this as extreme Islam. Why don't we speak about what is happening in Northern Ireland as Christian terrorism? Why don't we speak about the Oklahoma bombers as examples of Christian terrorism? We need to be very careful about the inflammatory language that we do use to describe realities, because the language is not merely descriptive. It creates the reality that we are seeking to describe.
Although we should say that the perpetrators themselves are using Islam as part of their doctrine.
Yeah, but I mean, didn't they use Christianity to justify apartheid? Didn't they? I mean, and did we stand up and say, look at this Christianity? We didn't say it. We said it was those Christians. And what I'm saying is important for all of us is to remember that religion in and of itself is morally neutral. It is the adherents of a faith, like the Ku Klux Klan. The Ku Klux Klan are Christians. They even use the cross as their symbol. You don't go around saying, Christianity is therefore a racist faith. No, you say that group is a racist faith. It is that Christianity produces wonderful people like a Mother Teresa, but Christianity produces ghastly creatures. Hitler was a Christian. You might recall.
So you're saying treat it as an issue of justice?
The people who were oppressing us here in South Africa were not pagans. They were Christians. Yes, there are people who will use religion. It's not something that is a prerogative of Muslims only. It's done by so many of us because they know religion is something that makes people usually sit up and take notice and imbues whatever they are doing with a new kind of authority that it would not otherwise have had.
That's Archbishop Desmond Tutu, who spoke to us earlier today from Cape Town, South Africa. The Archbishop shared some provocative thoughts about the violence that's plaguing his country. You can hear that part of a conversation at theworld.org.